What's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm back with my post-fight analysis from the main event, co-main event. You see that? That's why I feel like this fight should have been the main event, because Valentina Shevchenko versus Jennifer Maia seemed like a bigger event to me. You know, she's considered one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in WMMA. And look at that. I consider this fight the main event. It wasn't the main event, but it should have been in my eyes and a lot of fans. But yeah, man, I'm back with this post-fight analysis video. Valentina versus Jennifer Maia. I'm actually have to talk about, you know, this in some other videos as well, but I feel like Valentina came in this fight and she really overcame adversity. She showcased her skills, and that's the one thing I have to make a video about. This a separate video is like, people don't understand, like, greatness in the fight game, it doesn't mean invincibility. You know, when you go in there and you prove yourself time and time again that you're the greatest fighter in the world, it doesn't mean that you're not susceptible to losing rounds, or that you're not going to get knocked down, and that you're going to get cut. You know, it doesn't mean that you're perfect, you know. So I think that a lot of people feel like whenever Jennifer Maia actually came in here and put on a good performance the way she did, you know, they felt like there was like an off night of Valentina Shevchenko. They feel like, oh, she was off. But I was like, no, that's Valentina. She's just in there with a very tough customer. Like, Jennifer Maia is a tough fighter. You know, she's a physically strong fighter. She has good boxing, and she had enough in her tank and enough durability to go in there and last 5 rounds. I mean, she proved me wrong. That's what I want to see. Like, I predicted maybe like a 3rd or 4th round stoppage in a tough fight with Jennifer Maia showcasing her guts, but I was even more impressed that this fight went to a decision. And like I said, I love when a fighter can prove me wrong, because that means they're doing something right. And Jennifer Maia, she did something right in there. You know, she had a game plan to use her physical strength. But again, Valentina just knows how to make the right adjustments in a fight, because, like I said, she's a fighter that's destined for, you know, to go on for greatness and to be a great fighter. But to be a great fighter doesn't mean you're invincible. So there are going to be some holes in your game. You know, it's up to that other fighter to expose those holes and have the tools to expose those holes. You know what I mean? Like, it's deep, man. It's really deep. So a lot of people have to understand, not every fight is going to be pretty. Not every fight is going to be one-sided. You can say all day, like, oh man, like Jennifer Maia, she's going to get knocked out. She's getting killed. Well, that didn't happen Saturday night. You know why? Because she's a fighter and she prepared. She prepared the best way she could have. She lost, but she gave Valentina a competitive fight. A good unanimous decision win for Valentina, much earned win. But yeah, real quick, man, let's just go back and look at the fight, man. Round 1, Valentina used the distance well. Right away, she landed a solid 1-2 in that opening minute, just showcasing her timing right off. You know, she slipped the right hand of Maia as soon as Maia tried to counter, and she took Maia to the ground. And in the guard of Maia, Valentina really wanted to showcase her ground game here, and she was on top. And this is what I like about her ground game. You know, she had her head in the chest of Maia. And like I said, this is like a form of inside fighting in boxing. Like, when you're standing in boxing, you got your head in the fighter's chest, and that keeps you in a neutral position with your head, and you can still work to the body and still land shots and control that person's chin, you know, with your head. So Valentina, that's something I've seen her do before. I've seen other fighters do it, but Valentina, you know, she's still perfecting that, you know, and she's an overall solid fighter on the ground that a lot of people don't understand. And working these strikes to the body, that's effective, you know, because while these strikes to the body are coming, she comes back over the top with the occasional elbow, and, you know, she's doing damage, you know. So doing this, you know, with her head in her chest, it keeps Maia flat on her back, and it kind of keeps her in a position where she can't get anything done. And that's how Valentina controlled that first round. As soon as she slipped that one right hand from Maia, she took her down and just kept it an inside fight on the ground and dominated that first round. The second round, now, this is where I was talking about. This is what I'm talking about, keys to victory, on how Jennifer Maia needed to beat Valentina. You know, she had to go in there and make this a physical fight. And Maia pressed Valentina with the clinch and the takedown. But Jennifer Maia, she used the momentum from Valentina, because Valentina went in for the takedown. She used the momentum to roll back up, get up to her feet, get the underhooks, and press Valentina to the fence. And when she's to the fence, you can see that Valentina's a little uncomfortable, because she's almost off of her feet. Jennifer Maia's using that physical strength, and she's controlling with her head. You know, she's got that. Now she has her head in the chest of Valentina, and she's working knees to the body. And that's why I said, even like with Juliana Pena, you got to be kind of off rhythm. You know, you got to work knees to the body, use the physical strength to get her off of her feet, and just make it uncomfortable, and just take away the legs of the champion, because Valentina uses her legs She uses her legs no matter what. Every fighter does, but I mean, like, her style is really about keeping range and using those subtle movements. So once you can take her off of her feet and, press the action and be physical, it's going to be a very, very rough and rugged fight for Valentina. And I was surprised at Maia. She was able to control the whole round as much as she needed to, really score some shots, lock the legs of Valentina on the ground, and, get in a little ground and pound. So overall, I feel like it was a good round where she just outstrengthed Valentina and, won that round. But round 3, Valentina, she made the proper adjustment, went back to swing, not swinging, but she went back to striking, opening with the big left hand. And this is where the striking clinic comes in. Valentina's setting that rhythm. She's coming forward and keeping that distance. Straight left hand down the middle, and it's effective on Maia. It's keeping her honest. Another good left hand, and she pivots to the right. She throws that 1-2 and she pivots out to the right. So Maia, she wants to get that clinch, but when that left hand lands, it pops her and she's gone. She pivots out, so there's really no way to get a hold of Valentina now, because she's starting to pivot out at an angle. Blasting those straight left hands down the pipe, Maia, in my opinion, she really has to take a chance at this point. Like, I feel like she really has to take a chance to close that distance and land that counter left hook whenever Valentina dips out to the right, because from here, she was getting picked apart. And again, Valentina's just picking her apart with these left hands. She lands a big left hand in the 3rd round and hurts Maia. And when she hurts Maia, man, she goes in, she grabs her, and she slams her with the takedown. And when she's on top, Maia is able to use that strength and try to get back up. But she's got a pair of underhooks here, and she tries to go back into work with the clinch. But I feel like Valentina here, she's controlling a little bit better. And this was another Valentina round, but it had Maia moments in it, because I think that Maia did enough to have a few competitive moments, but it was still Valentina's round. 4th round, Valentina, she's back to setting up the straight left hand. She's connecting with big shots, and I think she's really trying to knock Jennifer Maia out here. She's not trying to get respect. She's trying to knock her out to avoid, going back into the clinch or fighting on the inside with her. So, Maia's getting a little bit apprehensive about letting her hands go. And to me, she really needs to get in there and counter. She needs to throw a 1-2 of her own, because Valentina's 1-2 is controlling the pace of the fight. But I will say that Maia took some good shots in there, and at least we know she had a good chin and that she wanted to try to engage, but it's just the power and the strength of Valentina was too much. And another 1-2 connects from Valentina, and she locks the body, takes Maia down, and once again she just tops it off with her wrestling after controlling the whole round with her striking. 5th round, Valentina, she started popping a nice jab. She snapped the head back of Maia. Maia knows that this is her last chance, so she closed in for a clinch. Valentina breaks with a hard elbow and goes right back to range. Landed some vicious body kicks, man. And, Maia, she's taking these shots. But she can't find a way to get in. Like, if she could take a shot or two and press in, that's her best chance. But she's staying on the outside, and, Valentina's, her kicks are stiff. When you get to that point and stay on the outside, she's going to knock you back with those kicks. And again, shout out to Maia, man, she was just very strong and durable. She took the kicks, got in another clinch, and pressed Valentina hard, and, does a quick, like, arm spin takedown. She tries to go in for that little arm. She does that little arm spin and tries to take Valentina down, but Valentina bounces right back up. Maia goes back into the clinch, but to me, she can't really take much more of this, because she's eating hard left hands. At this point, she's, like, leaking from the nose. But to me, she's still game. But Valentina's just stepping in and out at a rhythm where I feel like at this point, Maia's just really going to survive. And, she wasn't really able to get back inside and be as effective as she was in the 2nd round, because I think she just let Valentina get too much into a rhythm and just control the pace and land too many stiff, hard shots. Because when you take that many shots, even if you got a good chin, it's going to wear you out. It's going to frustrate you mentally and kind of set your body off, at an off rhythm where it's going to give you the instinct to not want to go in and take that shot anymore. Continuous left hands like from Valentina. But yeah, overall, it was a good, solid performance. I had it 4-1 for Valentina. Very good, solid work for Valentina, and that's what a champion needs to always prove their greatness. Just because this fight went 5 rounds, it doesn't mean that Valentina was sick or off, in my opinion, or had an injury. It was just she was in there with the game opponent who came to fight. And that's what these other fighters do. They train. People got to remember that people train to go in there and give the person the tough fight and come away with the win. I mean, Jennifer Maia wasn't able to do that, but she did give us a good fight. I enjoyed it. Not every fight's going to be a knockout. to me, this was like a fight like Amanda Nunes versus Jermaine Durandame, where if you can't do one thing, you got to make that adjustment and do the next thing that may not be pretty, but at the same time, it is going to get you the win. And if a fighter can just like make a quick change in a style and adapt to another fighter, you know, I find that exciting. Like I said with Amanda Nunes, I thought that was exciting how she just switched it up and just smothered the attack of Jermaine Durandame. And I enjoyed this fight with Valentina, how she was able to make adjustments and just pick apart Jennifer Maia to keep her off of her, and then at the same time reverse her and, you know, use her ground game at the same time and leave Jennifer Maia almost defenseless on her back. I thought all of that was impressive to me. So it was a good fight. It's definitely another notch on her belt to prove her greatness. But my question is, what's her next move from here? You know, what's her next big challenge? I don't see any more flyweights giving Valentina Shevchenko a challenge. You know, maybe going back to bantamweight. You know, maybe going back to bantamweight and competing with bigger, stronger women. Even though there's not much youth in the division, I think that would be cool if she went back to Valentina went back to 135 just to kind of try to get that title again. If Nunes was to retire, then that title would be vacated, and maybe a fight between her and, I know people, I don't know if everybody heard this, but I would love to see her fight Jermaine Durandame next. Honestly, I would love to see her fight Jermaine Durandame. Not Weili Zhang. I want to see her fight Jermaine Durandame because I feel like that would be a big, big challenge for Valentina. That would be a good fight. But yeah, man, overall, good fight weekend, all the way back to Invicta. But yeah, guys, let me know what y'all thought of this fight. Valentina, like I said, to me, this was just another fight where it proved her greatness again. And I love to see the different levels from her. Shout out to Jennifer Maia for trying, you know, for going in there and making it a good competitive fight. But let me know, guys, what y'all thought. What do y'all think this does for Valentina from here? Where do y'all want to see Jennifer Maia next? Who do you want to see in their fight next? And like I said, I'll be back with the live stream Wednesday talking about my unofficial flyweight tournament. But yeah, guys, Combo Breaker 99. Subscribe. I'm out. Peace.